Hello and welcome back to the channel. This episode we are going to be talking about a platform that's going to kick your ass, but it looks adorable at least, and that is Kitsune Tails. So Kitsune Tails is a precision platformer that has you playing as Yuzu, a purple kitsune who has finally gotten her messenger's license and is now just running her messenger job. I would like to give a quick thanks to Minimap, who provided me with a key so that I could do this review, so thank you, Minimap. Now, the story really seems to drive this game, as if the story didn't exist, we wouldn't be going on the adventure we are. So essentially, Yuzu is in a bit of a predicament. She has fallen into an accidental love triangle between herself, her childhood best friend Kitty, and the new local healer that saved her during a very unfortunate Oni in a cave incident. Her name is Akko. Now, Kitty is a bit of an airhead. She is a bit oblivious and doesn't really notice that both of these women are flirting with her and coming on to her. And during one unfortunate night where a dance festival is being held by the local human tribe where Akko is from, a series of unfortunate events happen, and it now looks like Kitty, in a fit of jealous rage, has kidnapped Akko and locked her in the elemental prison. Now, this is very unfortunate because all of these are extremely weird and out of place, especially from Yuzu's point of view, who didn't really understand why Akko and Kitty couldn't get along. And now she's wondering why her best friend has gone and kidnapped a new friend of hers, and she doesn't know what's going on. She just knows that Kitty has been acting very weird the past few days. Now, with bad news spreading far and wide across the lands, Yuzu has taken it upon herself to travel throughout the lands to collect the elemental keys, or orbs, to get the power to free Akko from this elemental prison. Seems very simple, right? It never is. It never is that simple, no. With each power of each element, Yuzu has to go and face first an entire world of levels, and then of course the elemental master. Now, with each elemental master she comes to, the story of how Kitty, who obviously got there first because this is just like Pokemon and your rival always somehow gets there first, their story keeps changing. At first, she's very rude when she approaches them, very demanding for the key. And then as it goes on, she seems to get nicer. Yuzu's very confused because this is completely out of character for Kitty. Why is she doing this? Why is she also coming to get all these keys for the person that she's locked up in the prison? Either way, only time will tell. But each level of these 6 worlds that you have to go through will slowly put the pieces together. Now, the main challenge is obviously within the levels themselves. Like I said, this is a precision platformer. The little tidbit of genre that I overlooked whenever I got this key from Minimap, and I just thought it was an adorable platformer. I was so caught off guard because the characters look so cute. The voice acting, yes, I said voice acting in this adorable little indie game, is great. The story, well written. I thought it was just a cute little platformer. I was very wrong. It was a precision platformer, and you really gotta be precise. So each world will have its own little theme. Think like every Mario game or every other platformer game. Now, the cool thing is Yuzu will get a unique little power-up that will change her appearance, and it fits within the theme of the world. It'll help her out a little bit, and just like every other platformer game, that also gives her another hit point to take. Now, in just her base human form, she can take one hit and become just a straight-up fox form, and then one more hit and you restart the level from your last checkpoint. But these abilities will help in certain ways. So some you can be able to swim in the water a lot better, others you can throw little kunai at enemies, others you can freeze them. It's all just very fitting for each level, very stereotypical in the platformer world. But once you start getting further, you realize that some of the jumps are a bit more challenging than you first thought. There were many times that I got stuck on levels and just could not figure it out. Sometimes these levels feel like you do need to speedrun them in order to avoid enemies that just are in very unfortunate situations and places. There's also a lot of ghost levels. I do really like that. I always would say in Mario games that I wish that the ghost levels were utilized more. Kitsune Tails did it! And the ghosts actually work slightly differently. I assumed that a lot of inspiration was taken from Super Mario 3 specifically, and ghosts would be one of them. No. So there is the charge up, kind of like the little flutter jump that you can do and kind of fly. It works slightly differently in here, but that is really just something that you're gonna have to play around with and get a feel for it yourself. And the ghosts, I thought, oh, you just look at them and they don't get you. Nope, these ghosts are evil. They don't play by Mario terms. They will hunt you down even if your back is turned. So how do you avoid ghosts, you might ask? Light. Ghosts are now vampires in this game, and if you bring light around them, they can't hurt you. They might not dissolve or burst into sparkles, but they go through you. They cannot harm you. You have the power of light on your side and nothing can touch you. Well, at least just the ghosts. The other enemies, they can still hurt you. But one thing that I do wish was a bit more intense was in each level you do have a designated ghost house that you have to go through, and at the end of each of these ghost house you have to fight this kitsune spirit taking up this suit of armor. And it is very neat that it does take on little aspects of the world in the environment of the fight, but the fight is still super simple even in World 6. And so I kind of wish it was a little bit more intense. It gave very much like a Koopaling fight from Mario, but I mean, it wasn't a super challenging boss, so. But I mean, like, even the masters aren't super hard, so I guess that's okay. This game really has the intensity focused on just the level setup in general, not the bosses. The bosses actually might be some of the easiest sections of the game that you're gonna face. They each, like every other game I've talked about, each of the bosses has a unique phase to where they have special movement and abilities unique to themselves. I sound like a broken record at this point if you've watched my videos, but it's true, they do. And after like a round or two, I always die the first time that I faced a boss, and I would always say, this is just me scoping out their moves. And you really actually might want to do that because each of them do have a special set of moves. But once you get them down, it's pretty easy. You find their weakness, you hit them 3 times, I think, and you're done. You get the elemental power and you can move on. Now there are in your town some like mini games and stuff. I honestly didn't mess with them a whole lot, but from what I did see, they seem like a cool little way to either like one, just pass some time and give your fingers a break from cramping, which they might do if you play this game for 6 hours straight, or to cool your head down if you may be stuck on a level for too long. And this game, it might seem pretty short if you are just looking at it for the first time, but I promise you it is going to be like double the length that you think it is. Coming from experience, I thought I could do this entire thing in a single night, and I played for 6 hours, and I was only halfway through the game. So you will definitely get your money's worth out of this game. It is very much a good purchase if you are someone who likes a challenge, who likes platformers, or is maybe just a bit masochistic and wants something to do during the weekend. So many might consider this a spoiler, so I'm just going to put a little timestamp right here for where you can skip to if you don't want any single type of spoiler. Okay, I gave you enough time. Here we go. There's 2 acts in this game. So the first is you playing as Yuzu, which I've been talking about, and you get to figure out the first half of the story about what's happening between Yuzu and Kitty and Akko, and you get the outside perspective on what has happened. But once you finish your 6 worlds, you then get to turn around and figure out the inside part of the story and figure out what's happening behind the scenes, and you go through and you play everything again and unravel the story as Kitty. And so this is what I mean by it doubles your playtime that you expect. And Kitty, she handles very differently from Yuzu. Yes, moving left, right, jumping, all of that stuff handles the same. But Yuzu doesn't have any type of attack. She bounces on enemies' heads, and that's the only way that she can defeat enemies. No dashes, no nothing. You would need a special power-up in order to dash and get through any like giant gaps. Kitty has a katana blade and can just slash down enemies, and it makes it super simple. And also she has a built-in dash, and also will pick up some new abilities as the playthrough progresses. I'm not going to go into that because that I think would be spoiler on how you get those, which it's really cool though, play it. But I honestly think that my second act playthrough, playing as Kitty, it felt like playing on easy mode. just those abilities because you already know the setup. You already know where the tricky parts are because you played it as Yuzu. So yes, there are 2 parts of the story, and it's really actually amazing when you see what is actually happening versus what you thought was happening. I loved it so much. Okay, are you here? You skipped everything? Yeah, hi, we're back now. So basically overall, this is a story-driven game with really hard platforming aspects in between the story points. Be prepared to spend a lot of time on certain levels. But that is really all I can say about this game. I don't want to go too much into the story. All I can tell you is each character seems pretty well developed in their archetype. They each fall into their own tropes, and we do get some character development at the end, which you will need to play through to understand the story and see the character development for yourself. But it's really good. But yeah, overall, it was a very satisfying game that, even though it doubled the playtime that I originally thought it would have, and it made me want to pull out my hair, I still loved it, and I'm so glad that I got to the end of it and saw everything through. So if you watched my Hell of an Office video, you know that this year is apparently just the year of really hard platformers for me. So in that video, if you didn't and you are in this video, drop down a suggestion for a really hard platformer, because apparently that's just what this year is going to give me. But if you have played Kitsune Tails, or if this video has inspired you to check it out, let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. And also, if you're just looking at this video and not sure if you want this game, please at least wishlist it if it looks interesting. This is an indie dev team, and it would mean a lot if you just simply wishlisted the game on Steam for them. But that is going to be all for me for today. Thank you for everyone who watched. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up to know I did good. And apparently thumbsing up videos will keep my videos on your page. And if you want to go the extra mile, give me a subscribe so you don't lose me in the sea of YouTube content. That is all for me for today. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a good day.